Hi everyone and welcome to Ali's Passion Project. Today I'm very honored to welcome my very first guest, Sylvia Halim, the woman behind the success of the MRT construction in Jakarta. Sylvia has played a key role in the development of Jakarta's MRT system, one of the country's most transformative public transportation projects. We're so excited to learn more about her journey, her passion for creating impact, and also the lessons she has gained from leading some of Indonesia's most ambitious projects. So here we welcome Sylvia Halim. Hi Ka, so thank you for sparing your time for this interview. So before we start, can you explain a little bit more about your background? Because I know that you had some prior education and work experience in Singapore. And can you also explain more about why you started the MRT project and why you moved to Indonesia?
Right. Thank you so much, hi Ali, for having me here. I'm so grateful today. And a little bit background about myself. I actually grew up in Indonesia up to high school. And then I moved to Singapore to complete my degree education there with the Nanyang Technological University. So I took the civil engineering course while I was there. And right after I completed my first degree, I joined with the Land Transport Authority of Singapore. So it is a government institution in Singapore that takes care of all the land transportation there. So my working experience has always been in the project delivery and especially in the land transportation systems. So after working with the LTA for like 12 years, I felt that I needed like more challenge with my career and also with my life, And I was also thinking that I've been spending years in Singapore, basically servicing other country, right? And I feel that as an Indonesian, that perhaps I should be thinking about how I can serve my own country. So when I heard about the opportunity of the first of MRT Jakarta, the first MRT in Indonesia, was being carried out sometimes in 2016, I thought that it was a good opportunity for me to give it a try. To serve my country, but also in a way that I know best, project delivery and land transportation. So yeah, when that opportunity comes, on my lap, I did not hesitate, and I just decided to join the company and also to move back to Jakarta, Indonesia. And then and why MRT Jakarta itself as a project, right? I was living in Singapore, whereby the land transportation systems, especially with the MRTs, are really working very well. People are really benefited with the public transportation system there, and that helps their daily lives. And I thought that in Indonesia, Jakarta especially, where we have a lot of traffic congestions as a problem, as a major problems, it really deserves, a good public transportation system. So I thought that. I would like to be able to contribute to the city and to the country, with the MRT Jakarta. So yes, that's why, I was back and here I am.
Wow, that's so inspiring. So I'm actually doing my own project, just like interviewing successful, inspiring leaders who are passionate and have achieved success in their own field. So I'm just gonna ask you like a few questions that I'm very interested in about your experience, and I'm pretty sure that other people out there are also and will be inspired by your story as well.
I hope so.
So to start with the first question, when you were a teenager, could you have imagined that one day you would help build infrastructure used by millions of people? What did you think your future would look like back then?
Well, honestly, when I was growing up, I didn't thought that I would be doing all this. In fact, if I can recall correctly, I was thinking about being a doctor, mostly, back then, because I like biology a lot. When I was in my schooling time, right? And so yeah, I really didn't thought at all, I would end up doing this kind of infrastructures. What did happen was that opportunity comes, at the different stage of my life. And I was in the position that I wanted to grasp that opportunity and see, how far it can take me. So yes, of course, I thought I'm going to be a doctor, but then the opportunity of going to Singapore, of studying in the NTU, an engineering course, right, came to me, and I thought it was a good opportunity, so I took it. So obviously, when I took the NTU, gone the doctor dreams, right?
Yeah.
And then it puts me in a different trajectory. But yeah, I mean, I really didn't thought anything, when I was growing up. It was completely a different, ideas or dreams back then as compared to reality now. Yeah.
That's really interesting and surprising.
Surprising, right?
Yeah. Okay. How would you define passion in your own terms?
What I would say is that I think we always talk about how important it is to have passions in our life.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I don't think that everybody are fortunate to find their passions immediately. I know that for sure that did happen to me, right? It took me actually sometimes after I finished my schooling, and then I started working, and then started to complete like maybe first 1 or 2 projects, then I started to realize, that hey, that I think my passion is about delivering public infrastructures to the people, to the community, so that they can help their daily lives, to make their daily lives better, right? And to me, that was about making impact, for the greater goods, right? But it didn't come to me immediately, It took me times, to go through my life, to give it a try of a different kind of like roles, different kind of activities, right? For me to eventually arrive, what really drives me, every day. Yeah. And that's what I think passion is, what really motivates you and drives you, on every day of your life, and usually I find that it's something that is greater than yourself, something that is beyond serving yourself, because passion is about something that is you want to keep pursuing, you want to keep doing, right? Although it's not easy, it's challenging, and the thing is about life is that you were definitely gonna face challenges. You're gonna fail at things, right? But you want to be able to to pick up, right? To get up and then to continue, right? So that what passion serves you, that helps you to not to lose your sight, and then to keep your spirit going on, even though things are being difficult.
Wow. Who are the people who most influenced your ambitions growing up? Do you think that your parents' involvement in your ambition is important for the support of your success?
Well, I mean, if I have to look back, I would say that actually I drew a lot of inspirations from many people that I've met, throughout my life at a different stage, right? So it never really like one person's, Each person that I've encountered, they always have an inspiring stories about them. They have a lot of great qualities also about them that I get to learn, from them, and these are real people, and of course my parents being, in my life, they are, one of the most influential people in my life. If anything, I'm grateful for my parents, because for them, they are very supportive of me and their children to pursue whatever passions or dreams that we want to do, And there's nothing greater than that, a very supportive parents that allows you, right, to go out there and give it a try, and not to feel the fear of failing, because you always have them at your back. Yeah, they're gonna always there, support you and help you no matter what, right? That is the best support system that you will ever need, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Or who are like your inspirations, your idols maybe?
Like I said, I don't really have exactly one, but I'm always drawn to amazing women.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing women that really overcomes the difficulties and the challenge in their lives to be where they are, right? And I mean, like one of the person that I can think of, you know, just at the top of my mind, is our former finance minister, Ibu Sri Mulyani, right? Because if you follow her stories, it's been ups and downs, you know.
Yeah.
It was never smooth, right? But she persevered, right? She was consistent with who she is, and then with what she believes, right? And how much, you know, contribution that she has made to the country. So I'm always drawn to, you know, amazing women who just, you know, being able to,
especially the women empowerment.
Yes, exactly, because what the thing is that they are real people, right? They share with their challenges and their difficulties. We know that they are not perfect, you know, but that's what makes them real, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what makes them relatable with us, and making us know that if they can do it, then so the rest of us, we will be able to do it as well.
Many people see your career as successful. How do you personally define success?
This is a very difficult question. I think we all know the definition of success is going to be different for everybody. But for me, I guess it's the successful for me is probably is that being able to do my best in whatever that I'm doing. Yeah, knowing that I have given my best, right? To me, I think is success. Yeah, because the outcome is always, you know, different. Yeah, sometimes you can be, you know, you may score, you know, very high, or you may be achieve certain positions, you may be able to complete the projects. But to me, just getting that is probably not you know, not enough. You know, is important to know that in doing that you're already giving your best. So then whatever that outcome is, you don't feel, you know, there's no regrets because you have given all out, right? So yeah, I guess to me that would be the definition of success. Yeah.
Wow, very inspiring. What accomplishment are you most proud of in your career, and why are you proud of it?
Well, I guess if I have to pick one, I guess MRT Jakarta would be my, you know, my proudest achievement, you know, to date. Yeah, because the experience of delivering the MRT Jakarta, I think I would say it's a very transformative experience. You know, I was moving from a project manager roles in my previous jobs with the Land Transport Authority, right? And then getting into a positions of a construction director. You know, it is a much higher positions with a much bigger responsibility, and not just in terms of the project itself. You know, it's a big project, but also I have to be in charge, you know, of a bigger team, right, as compared to my previous. And so I had to kind of like quickly learn very fast how to become a leader, you know.
Leader.
Yes, how to become a leader, and which is about not just about finishing the projects, right, but also leading that, you know, that group of people, you know, which is consists of young engineers who are very passionate, who are very driven, because we all share the same goal. We want to deliver the first MRT in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
But the challenges are so much, you know. Every day we have, you know, overcome many difficulties, not just technical difficulties, but also the non-technicals, such as dealing with the residents or dealing with the governments and the regulations, you know. So it was not, you know, it was not easy, right? It was really, really tough, and it's about how, for me, as a leader, is to keep them motivated, you know, and then they don't lose sight of why we are doing what we are doing, right? So yes, I mean, so it was a transformative, because it was not enough to just deal it technically, you know, anymore, right? It's beyond that. So that's why by the time we finished the MRT Jakarta, you know, the accomplishment that I feel is not just, again, having the first MRT system for the public, right? Creating that impacts for the people every day, but also the impact to the people, the project teams that was delivering the projects.
Yeah.
So, and I would say that that is probably the proudest part of that of that job. Yeah.
Speaking of being a leader, what do you think makes someone an effective leader in their field? Or
Being an effective leader, I would say, I think it's first to understand what does it mean to become a leader. And one thing for sure is not about becoming the boss. It's not about bossing people or telling people what to do, right?
Yes.
I think being a leader is in fact is about being a service to the people that you work with, to the people that you lead, right? Is about understanding them, what drives them, what motivates them, so that they can they can give their best.
Yes.
So as an effective, you need to be an enabler for your team. Yes, enabler for your team in order for them to be their best, because you're only gonna be as good or as strong as your team. Yeah, nobody will be able to deliver anything on their own. Yeah, you need the people that you work with, right? And so understanding that in the first place is very important. Yeah. And then after that, being able to listen to the people that you work with, especially your team, right? Encouraging them to speak up, to contribute, to the effort that you're doing, right, collectively. And I think at the end of the day is about making sure that they can perform, as best as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. I think when that happens, that's a success. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention: being a leader is about creating the next leader as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, when you enable your team members, to perform their best, you are also helping them, creating the path for them to be the next leader. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you think good communication is also important in an effective leader?
Yes, definitely. Communication is very important. But I think in a lot of my cases, I found that not all great leaders are a very strong or charismatic communicator, right? So if the idea is someone that can speak very well, very inspirative, right? That's good, but the most important thing is that that persons are willing to listen, right? Because when you're willing to listen, is that you are enabling your team members to feel safe, to speak up and to contribute, right? And so I think that is, when we talk about communication, it's not just about you saying things, but you also about being able to listen. Yeah. Okay.
What qualities and values do you look when you mentor young professionals or young people out there?
I don't think it's any specific qualities and values. I would say is that the fact that they understand that they are that they want to grow, and therefore they go out and seek mentorship, right? I think that's a very important first step. Acknowledging that yes, I want to be better, I want to be stronger, and to do that, I want to get help, and therefore I look for mentoring or coaching, right? I think that is the very first step that is very important, right? Because you can only help someone so much, right? If the person is not ready or open enough to be helped, to be coached and mentors, then you're going nowhere, right? So I think the most important thing is
asking for help.
Yes, knowing that I need help, I'm asking for it, and then you open yourself up for that opportunity, right? To be mentored, to be coached, right? And to learn, to continuously learning. Yeah, that's an important start.
Okay. Are there any books, experiences, or mentors that have shaped your thinking the most?
I would say I have to give credit to all my previous bosses. I actually learned, things from them, from each of them. As early as my first boss, who told me that whatever I do, I need to stay focused. Back then I was like, so what, being focused? But then now that I'm doing a lot of things, right, you understand better. That staying focused is about not losing your sight. And about taking,
stay consistent.
Yeah, to be consistent, and sometimes it's about taking things one at a time, right, so that you can remain focused. Yeah. There are bosses who also always about trying new challenges. I have a boss who always keep telling me, you should give it that one a try, that project a try, that task a try. When those tasks and projects, I don't really have an experience, but it's about putting yourself out of the comfort zone, and about doing something that challenge you, and then that allows you to learn new things, gain new skills and experience, right? Yeah, and yeah, so that each of my boss will always have something about them that I get to learn from them. Yeah.
Do you have like any tips for like staying focused and not getting distracted and reaching your goals?
To be honest, I'll be the first person to say that I get distracted quite easily. So for me, it would always be something that I have to be consciously telling myself that if I find myself that I get distracted, or I'm also an overthinker, so so I overthink things. So when I get distracted, I get overthink. When I do, find myself that I'm in that positions, I have to consciously tell myself to take a step back, and then to deal things one at a time, and just by choosing which one is the most urgent, the most priority, and then you settle things, addressing them one by one. So yeah, I mean, like, to me is that it is an everyday things that I have to do. Yeah.
Okay. How do you want your work to like affect future generations?
I hope that when for the projects that I do, that they can be really benefited. I mean, like, for example, like the MRT Jakarta project, for example, being a public transportation system in Jakarta, I sure hope that it is something that would help them to gain freedom, in their life, because it allows them to have better accessibility to wherever that they want to be, right? And so that sense of freedom for them to pursue whatever works, activities that they want to do, right, in daily life. But also to the fact that I hope that the experience that I went through in delivering that projects would also inspire them, in a sense that if I can do it, right, then so they can as well, right? Because I'm no different with anybody else, I did, I was studying, I was working my way up, and so yeah, I mean, I don't have any strong connection in my life, so it's something that I have, where I am now, it went through a lot of hard works, and with consistency. So I hope that itself, something that others can see as something that is doable, so if I can do it, so can they. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The last question is, what would be like one piece of advice or message you hope that every young listener, especially teenagers who watch this podcast, what is one important piece of advice for the future, or like any message that you would give to all the people out there?
I'm borrowing this from someone, from Nike. My message is just do it, right? Because I know sometimes we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of thoughts, we have a lot of critics, or comments about things going on in our life, or what we see out there, right? But my suggestion is that not just talk about it, but do something about it, right? And it doesn't have to be something very big, you know, you can start small, right? But the most important, you start doing it, right? Because until you actually start doing it, you won't know. Well, you won't know how far it can bring you, you won't know what are your limitations, right?
Yeah.
Or no limit, usually. Yeah, and so the most important, you just have to start it, you know, and start small, and you don't have to do it alone as well, you know, do it together, right? With your friends, with your family, basically people that share the same thoughts, you know, as you, right? But again, my point is you know, to get started, yeah, do something about it. And I'd say the second is like not to be afraid, yeah. I'm not in the sense that yeah, you will fear some things, right? But don't let it stop you, yeah. And at the end of the day, is that worst scenarios that would happen is that if you try and you fail, is that you get to do it again, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, Kak Sylvie, thank you so much for being in this interview today. I'm very honored that you're here, and to everybody watching, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys feel inspired as much as I do. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.